Dickinson, and she is here to my right. And as much as, that's her hand, and as much as we would like to be welcoming you to our campus in person, which is the usual way we do our Get Started events, that is not possible this year. So we are joining you from Cumberland campus in Springhill, Nova Scotia, and this is where you will be starting classes with us in the fall. So we look forward to having you join us. And at that point, we're going to be able to do much more of an introduction, and you'll see the space better, and you will meet more people and that kind of thing. But for right now, you're going to hear from Jen and I for the next 30 minutes at most, and then you are going to head over to meet your faculty and learn more about your specific programs. Okay, next one, Jen. So land acknowledgement. As we begin our welcome session, I would like to acknowledge that at the Cumberland campus, when we come together like this, we do so acknowledging that we are privileged to be in the traditional, unceded, and ancestral home of the Mi'kmaq people. We are reminded to be guided by a spirit of welcome and connection to this land and its people, and that this place itself has significance, and we have an obligation to share the stewardship of this place. Personally, I am thankful to those who have gone before us and those who remain among us. All right, so a bit of housekeeping before we just part of the whole thing, but just wanted to talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams and about how to ask questions. Teams may not be familiar for all of you, but hopefully you are going to get comfortable with this platform fairly quickly. We had to pivot to Teams in April of 2020, obviously over a year ago now. And we've never looked back. It has been a great tool for us, and hopefully you'll adjust to it. If you're not familiar with it, you'll adjust to it quickly. So a few things to chat about. You'll see that the PowerPoint presentation is up, and you will have on the right-hand side of your screen a chat area, and that is the place where you can watch for conversations to be going on. You can continue to submit your text questions and comments using the chat area. That's easy to do, and would encourage you to do that. And Jen is going to monitor that for the course of our 30 minutes. Please keep your mic muted, and there's an area there where you would mute your mic, and she's pointing to that. And you can certainly raise your hand to ask questions, to ask a question using your mic, and Jen will prompt you on that. But also, if you hit the three buttons, there's a closed caption is available on that tab as well, if you would like to be able to visually see what we're saying. If your questions aren't answered, and we expect there's going to be a fair number of questions that come up either now or in the days ahead, that's fine, or the months ahead, that's fine too. But we're going to try and do our best to respond to you as quickly as possible. And please don't think that there are stupid questions, because I can assure you lots of other people are going to likely have questions. And we hope that over the course of the next 25 minutes or so, some of your questions are going to be answered, but we also acknowledge that some of those questions will also be answered within your faculty classroom sessions. And you may hear, but if they're not, then we'll certainly do our best to try and follow up with you. So the agenda for the 30 minutes. So this is a welcome more than anything. We are glad to have you here for sure. It's exciting to think that we are going to start a new year in September, and that we're going to have actually people on campus, because I'll tell you, it's been a pretty lonely place for the last year. But we are glad to have you join us today and give you a little bit of a taste for those who don't know about what Cumberland is. We also want to talk about the services and supports that exist, a few things that you should know about, and you're going to get a lot of information, and we appreciate that. So we are trying really hard to limit the amount of names and faces and people and things to do. We're kind of honing in on the specifics and hoping that you will remember those types of things. And Jen will certainly be sending out this presentation to you afterwards, so you can look back on the content. So that we can hopefully, get some of those things answered that you need to know about that are really, really important. There's just a couple of takeaways that are really important for you tonight. Key dates, we're going to talk about that. Don't forget, and watch your email. And then at 6:30, we're going to send you off, and you're going to go and have the opportunity to have a conversation with your instructors.
I just want to mention as well, we're going to be here until 6:30, so this link will be open. So when you do move into your program link, or if you have any problems getting to your program, please pop back onto this link, and Jocelyn and I will be here until 7:30 to help you out.
Thanks, Jen. So next slide. So your Cumberland Student Services team, And yes, you can see down there in the bottom that we rock. I just want, I have to put that out there. It's my team. So if you look at the campus, there is an academic side really, and that's comprised of our principal, Don McCormick, who you'll meet in the fall. And then there are 2 academic chairs that support all of the programs that we have here. And then there are faculty associated with all those programs. And so student services supports the work within the classroom and outside the classroom, supports our students so that we can try and help you be as successful as possible. We know that our students have many hurdles in some cases, and sometimes they just have challenges that they just need to get some help with. And so we want to do our best to try and support students as much as possible, so that you can reach that finish line. And you know what, we will be just as excited as you will be to start in the fall, but also when you ultimately finish your program. So the academic side is the academic chairs and the faculty, but then on the student support side of things, we have Heather, who is here in our office. We have Joanne, who's here in our library services. We have Apollonia here to assist with the registration and academic details, specific things. We have a personal and career counselor who is about to be hired and is a new team member. We have somebody in accessibility service who is also going to be a new team member. And then we have a business office that are here to help in terms of money with tuition payments and transcript orders, a whole bunch of different things that that should you have questions about, that they can help you with. Next one, Jen. Okay, so but if I have to send you away with one name today, it's not mine, it's Jennifer. So Jennifer Dickinson is your student service advisor. You will have received emails from her. You will have, you'll be getting invitations to Teams channels and a Teams chat with her. You will have opportunity to interact with her on many different platforms, and I would encourage you to do so. And I'm going to give you her contact information at the end of our session. So just a couple of points there. She's saying that she can help you when you hit a bump, and there are lots of people that have bumps. She knows the services of the college and can connect you with those quickly. Help answer questions, help you find answers to your financial questions. So we recognize that finances are often unexpected or unanticipated challenges come up, and so she is there sometimes to help with all kinds of different ways in which you may require some support. She can help you navigate the college information requirements and processes, and if she doesn't know herself, she certainly will pass you on to somebody who can help. And she is certainly good at helping you develop strategies and use resources and tools to make the most of your college experience. She has many years of experience in doing this, master's in education. She is very well skilled to try and help support our students get the best out of themselves. Anything else there, Jen, I missed other than I talked you up?
No, you already have an email from me, so feel free to use that one to reply if you have any additional questions.
Okay, so just visually to talk a little bit about, just to see in a visual representation about the services that we offer through student services. We offer wellness services. There is student life and engagement. So we have a student association here at Cumberland campus. We have learning support services. We have financial support services, enrollment services, career and employment services. Obviously, career and employment, we work closely to try and help align those things together so that your efforts, your experiences here at NSCC then lead you to something that is once you finish your program here, that you can go on and be employed. And then accessibility services as well. So, are there any questions, Jen? No, nothing. Okay. Don't forget, if you have any questions, so please feel free to put questions in the chat. That's we're happy to answer those. So important dates. Please watch for these. From June 14th to 18th, there are webinars that are available. Those webinars are, so that's next week. So those webinars are on the Get Started website, and I would encourage you to seek those and look at them. They are some of the things that are being discussed. Some of the webinars that are going to take place include Money Matters, learning all about Brightspace, which is going to be an important platform for you to get comfortable with. There's an information session for parents and for supporters. And as much as you may not want your parents or your supporter to be part of that process, the reality is that they can be very instrumental in helping you be successful as well. You can learn more about our library services and how to access the library and utilize it to your advantage. And then there's also a session related to the accessibility for students with disabilities. So just to take note of some of those webinars. August 6th, tuition date. That's something you would want to make sure that you get paid up. And August 17th is when your class schedules will be available. New student orientation is on the 7th and 8th of September. So watch for information to be coming about that. And then classes begin on that 9th. And you'll get, as much as you probably will hear the same thing from us over and over again, the reason why we repeat things so many times is because we're trying to encourage students to remember these things, because if they don't remember them, there's usually bad thing happens. And so things like opting out of your health and dental benefits, that's one of those things that you would want to do. It can be a saving for you financially, and can really make a difference down the road. So please pay attention to the emails that we send you, and I'm going to hone on that. I'm going to drive that point home in the next couple of minutes, because it's really important that you do that.
I'm just going to add one thing, Jocelyn. So for the August 6th date, if you are applying for student assistance or student loan, you can call the campus to what we call defer your payment until you have more information from your student assistance or student loan. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the money that you pay, but you need to contact us to let us know how you are going to, or what arrangements you have made for your tuition.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Jen, because it's very hard for us to be able to help if we don't know the information. It's really important that you try to make that connection with us, with Jennifer, to the business office, so that we can understand a little bit about your personal circumstances. And that's going to help us to be able to put a note on your file to say payment plan expected, or what's going to happen. We expect this. They're waiting on student loan, that kind of thing. Those are really important things for us to have, so that we're aware that you're actually paying attention. You know that this is due, and you've made plans to try and get yourself to that point. Okay, next thing, just to talk a little bit more about finance, is about tuition. So this is the program costs and the fees. Really, obviously, it depends on where you land, whether you're doing a certificate program or a diploma, and whether you're a domestic student or a international student. I would encourage you really to take a look at the nscc.ca/program fees. That website's going to help provide you with a little bit more content and specifics around fees. And we could go through all the bits and pieces and details, but there's different costs also for some different programs, because there's additional costs. So I would encourage you to go on and take a look at that. One thing that I want to next one, Jen, are you on
the boards?
Yep. So the next thing is about helping with some finances to pay for your education. Yes, there's student loans, and there's all kinds of other agencies to support you. But the one thing that we ask all of our students, we encourage all of our students to utilize, is our awards program. We have a very, very lucrative, well-endowed awards program, and we encourage students to apply for awards. Some of our awards are actually never given out because nobody applies for them. And some of them are very specific, and so it's about finding the right person, the exact person that fits the criteria when the donor gave the money. And others of them are much more broad in nature, and as a result, lots of people would apply for them. Nonetheless, people are interested in hearing about some of the donors have very specific criteria and are interested in hearing a little bit about your personal circumstances and what led you to do this and what you hope to achieve and your goals and that kind of thing. And so I would really encourage you, with $2 million in awards and scholarships and bursaries to hand out, it's your chances of being able to be recognized with one of those is high. So I would encourage you to please try and take advantage of that. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to come back to communicating with us. So most of our communication, whether you think it's old or not, and I'm old, but whether you think it's old or not, most of our communication will take place through email. It is a reliable and consistent way in which we know we can reach out to students. We encourage you to please watch your email, and when you switch over to actually getting your NSCC email, then you will want to watch that email. That is important. You need to continue to check the status of your application, and you can do that online, and presumably they would have all that information already, right, Jen?
Through your My NSCC,
yeah, exactly. So your important records such as finances, financial marks, transcript, all those things are located on the My NSCC site. And so you know what, go to it and familiarize yourself with it so that when you are asked to do something, you have that comfort level. Don't miss out on important information. It is really, I can't stress it enough. Check your email and your MyNSCC regularly. And then in August, you're going to get access to Connect, which is our intranet for NSCC. And we use that as a repository for an awful lot of information. And it's a great access point. You put in search and you type it in whatever it is, and you'll come up with a whole bunch of different things that are going to be there and accessible to you. So we've kind of thrown a bunch of things out at you in terms of Teams, in terms of Brightspace, Connect, MyNSCC, and as much as it may seem overwhelming, try not to let yourself get too stressed about it, and let's just talk about how we can help you get there and get comfortable with it. Your faculty will also be there to help you in that. There are folks that will be on campus when you're here in September, and they will help you do it. There is no shame in asking, because the number of people, it is very distressing for us though, when someone comes to us in January and says, well, I don't ever know how to open my NSCC email account. You know what, let's help you do that, because that's really what's going to make a difference about making sure you're informed about things and have the information and the tools you need. So that's one of those things that we just trying to drive home. The next slide talks also about connecting, but this in particular is connecting with Jennifer. Again, she's the only name that I'm going to give you. Well, no, that's not true, but she's probably the primary name I'm going to give you here. So Jennifer Dickinson, you'll notice the email address, jennifer.dickinson@nscc.ca. A phone number is there. Her office, you know what, I'm not going to give you an office number because you're not going to remember anyway. But her office is, she has an office here in Spring Hill. And so if you ask anybody here where you'd find Jennifer, she will be down in the wing for student services. For international students, I want you also to be aware that you have a specific international student advisor who is very well versed with all things international. And some of you may have attended her session last week, Jen? Last week? Or,
yes,
yeah,
last week,
yeah. And it was an exceptional session that really provided a lot of information to international students. Her name is Farhana Afroz, and her email address is there as well, if you would like to reach out to her. Jennifer may be able to answer some of the questions, but she might also in turn around and say, you know what, you better email Farhana. So just a little bit of a word of some information around contacting Jen. And oh yeah, the next slide. Stay connected. Stay connected over the summer. We'll be talking about what it's like to be an NSCC student, sharing tips to prepare you for September, and answering your questions. Of course, social media is not far away from us as well. We make use of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and so would encourage you to use those vehicles, those platforms to view some information. So what time are we at? Okay, we're at 20 after. So are you on the next one yet? Yep. Thanks. Okay, so so the next step is for you to join your faculty, and they're waiting for you. And in fact, most of them are here. All of them are here on campus, actually, in their classrooms. And they are waiting to share with you what for an hour from 6:30 to 7:30. They're waiting to share with you what it's going to look like. And Jen is we're gonna send you the link for how to get to them in 2 ways. It's sent? Yep. In 2 ways. So she's going to put in the chat. Jen is going to put the link and to a number of programs, and you just need to choose the program that's your program. You click on that, and it's going to take you into that session. If you are on a smartphone, or if you're on a phone and you're not able to access the chat readily, she has also sent an email to each of you that has a link to a session, to where you click the link to get to the session as well. So there's 2 different ways in which you can access your faculty session. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to turn off the recording, as I promised, and I just want to take this opportunity, and if people want to either turn on their camera, like raise their hand, and then Jen will call your name, turn on your camera, and we can certainly, happy to see you face to face and answer any questions you may have. Your faculty are not expecting you for another 8 minutes, so we can hold off and just sit here for a bit and have a conversation around some other things, and then you can go and speak with your faculty members directly. So they, as I say, they're expecting in 7 or 8 minutes. So if there are questions, then by all means, this is a chance to ask.